Which is what if Naruto was personally trained by Shizune, Yugao, and Anko and a bond blossomed. Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Hokage-sama, I think it's about time I helped him. A purple-haired Anbu stated. The Sandaime rested his head on his hands in shock that his strongest Anbu member wanted to train a genin and that genin out of all the others. And what brought this Neko? Hiruzen asked. Many reasons in fact. For one, I was one of the few who protected from the villagers and I've kinda grown attached. 2. I witnessed his so-called training method with his team and I feel like his talent is wasted on Hatake, since the Cyclops will only train the Uchiha because the idiotic council. And 3. The most important reason, we owe it to his parents and ever since he was born no one tried to help him. No offense Hokage-sama, but the people at the ramen stand did a better job taking care of him. I know you want to protect him but you are doing it the wrong way. Let me teach him his mother's technique, he can learn them without knowing whose they are and we can pay the debt towards Lord Forth and Kushina. Neko offered. Hiruzen thought about this. It's true Naruto hasn't had a proper teacher or anyone to look after him. Even if he had to admit with proper training, the young blonde would be a force to reckon with, and him being trained by an Anbu would help even the odds. This might be the only thing he could do for the boy. Neko, take off your mask. The Anbu nodded. She took off her cat mask to reveal a beautiful purple-haired woman with brown eyes. Azuki Yugao, do you accept the S-rank mission to train Genin Uzumaki Naruto for the next year until the Chunin exams? Hi Hokage-sama, Yugao answered. And Yugao, don't speak a word of this to anyone, I'd rather have everyone who ever doubted the boy reap what they sowed. The Hokage chuckled. Hi, and Hokage-sama. Thank you. Yugao then shunshin away with a noticeable smile. Naruto's apartment. Naruto just got back from the wave mission with his team and was now boiling some ramen until he heard a knock on his door. When he opened the door, he saw a purple-haired lady standing there, but what confused the blonde was the familiarity he felt from. Then he remembered who this was. Neko-chan. Yugao was surprised he knew who she was without her mask but nodded. The next thing she was being embraced by the 13-year-old boy, and decided to return the hug. I can't believe it's you. I missed you, ya know. I missed you too, but how did you know it was me without my mask? Yugao asked. Naruto gave her a confused look before responding. You know I'm not really sure. When you were at my door I just felt a warm familiar sensation coming from you. Yugao was shocked at this but she had to confirm it. Have you ever felt this sensation before? The ex-Anbu asked. Yay actually, it's like I know how many people are near me, but don't know who they are unless I've met them before. The blonde responded. Naruto-kun, I believe you are a sensory-type ninja. A what? Naruto responded, giving Yugao the cute little boy look that made her squeal in her head kawaii. You can sense people's present as well as their emotions. Anyway, do you mind if I come in? Naruto nodded and led her to the living room and gave her some tea. So Naruto, the reason I'm here is because I was assigned to train you for the next 6 months till the Chunin exams. The Hokage and I agree that training on the same team as Hatake might be hindering but we can blame the council for that. What do you mean? They practically forced Kakashi-san to train the Uchiha against his will, so I'm going to train you. You will still do missions with them, but only D-rank missions. I don't want you tired when training with me, and as an award I'll talk to Hokage and ask him to tell you a secret. Cool, so am I going to learn some jutsu and maybe get Sakura-chan to like me? Naruto asked in excitement. Naruto, calm down, Yugao giggled. I'm going to let you know about your training. We will first work on your physical abilities like weight, strength, speed, endurance, and your chakra control. Second will be perfecting your chakra control. After that I'll teach you kenjutsu. Yugao then pulled out some scrolls and tossed it towards Naruto. The blonde looked at the scrolls in confusion and turned his head towards his new sensei. What's kenjutsu and what are these scrolls for? Yugao wasn't surprised that he didn't know what he was considering all his instructors except Haruka was trying to sabotage him. Kenjutsu is the art of swordsman, in simple terms just like how ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu have different styles when it comes to certain people, so does kenjutsu. She then gave him a book. Why won't you look through this book and see what style interests you? Naruto took the book and started looking through it. After a few seconds he stopped on a page and his eye looked like it was hypnotized. He then looked up at Yugao with a huge smile. How about Kodachi style? That's an interesting choice. It focuses on speed and hand-eye coordination, plus you can dual wield 2 at a time, without worrying about losing speed. That style will definitely help you if you have wind or lightning affinity. Yugao pulled out some paper from her pocket and handed it to Naruto. Pump some chakra into this and we can find out what your affinity is. Naruto nodded and did as he was told and pumped some chakra in the sheet of paper. He was surprised when the paper split in half. Yugao was about to speak but stopped when something unexpected happened. One side of the paper was soaked. The ex-Anbu was quiet for a while then snapped out of her thoughts when Naruto spoke. Did I do it right? The blonde asked. Yes, Naruto. I was just caught off guard. It seems you have two affinities, one to wind and the other to water. Mastering one affinity is hard enough but two. Even a Chunin would have a hard time. Yugao explained. Well, what do I do? From what I've seen, you learn the Kage Bunshin Jutsu. Naruto nodded. Good, now make a clone. The blonde did as instructed and made a clone. Yugao made one and the clone dragged the Naruto clone to the bathroom, and closed the door. After what felt like 15 seconds, Naruto started to blush and turned to Yugao. Why did you do that? Do what? Why did you kiss me on the cheek? How do you know I did that? What do you mean? Naruto's eyes shot wide open. How did he know? The clone got kissed, not him. Then he realized. I have his memories. Exactly. So if you read a book or practice chakra control, the memory and experience will be transferred to you. Yugao explained. The purple-haired Jonin then took out another scroll and pulled out what's inside, which was revealed to be chakra weights. Put this on your arms and legs. This will increase your physical prowess, and every time it starts to feel light, pump some chakra to increase it. And never take them off unless you're sleeping, showering, or if I say so. Naruto strapped them on, and the moment he did, the weights started glowing blue. Then he fell to the ground. It took a while for Naruto to stand up. Yugao was chuckling a bit. If you train in those, then you'll become stronger. Now tomorrow morning we'll start your chakra control exercise, and I'm aware you know the tree climbing exercise, but you, or should I say your clones, are going to repeat it while sticking leaves to them. Great. After I get strong enough to beat Tem, Sakura-chan might start to notice me and give me a date. Naruto said excitedly. Yugao put her hands on his shoulders, drawing his attention towards her. I'm going to be honest with you, Naruto-kun, I think you should give up on Haruno-san. Naruto looked heartbroken. I think you're too good for her. I see the way she treats you, and I don't approve of how she uses you to heighten her own ego. You're not an idiot because you want love, and you are an angel for trying to make her happy, but I assure you that there are way better girls in the world. Do you understand? Naruto was sad, but even he couldn't deny the truth. Alright, I'll try to move on, and who knows, I might find someone better. Yugao nodded with a smile and sent Naruto to bed and gave him a schedule. She gave him a kiss on his forehead and left. 2 weeks after Naruto started training, his chakra control and sensory abilities went up. She had Naruto's clones to study Fuinjutsu, and for some strange reason Naruto was picking up rather easily. While he was studying, his clones were practicing writing seals. Along with learning Kenjutsu and elemental manipulation, he was learning a new taijutsu style from a new friend. Flashback 1 week ago, Naruto woke up in a sewer. He decided to walk towards the end until he stumbled upon a huge cage. When he came closer, 2 big pairs of red eyes were glaring at him. So my jailer finally comes to visit. The deep voice spoke. So I'm guessing you are the Nine Tails. That's right, but you don't seem afraid. The fox spoke. Why would I be afraid of something misunderstood? Naruto said. What do you mean I'm misunderstood? The Kyuubi asked. I read about your history, and from what I learned, you were sealed in the first Hokage wife after being manipulated by Madara. So you are a victim. The fox was surprised. This kid didn't think of him as a monster, but how did he find out about his past? If you wondering how I found out, there was some night when I was sleeping I saw your eyes looked like the Sharingan, and a Uchiha was riding on top of you. And after that everything went blank. Naruto explained. So what now, are you going to release me? The fox asked, getting his hopes up. Believe me, I would love to, but if I do I'll die, but since this is my mind I'll do something better. Naruto closed his eyes and soon the scenery changed to one of a beautiful forest and a lake. Naruto was panting and looked up at the fox. How is this? Why would you do this for me? The fox asked, looking at the blonde. Well, I thought since you're stuck inside me, we could be more like friends. I mean, neither one of us asked for this. So we might as well make the best of this. What do you say, friends? Naruto offered a fist bump. Sure, kid, and as a thank you gift I'll help with your training. The fox offered. Thanks, Kyuubi-san, Naruto said with a smile. Sure, kid, and by the way, the name is Kuruma. Kuruma said, matching Naruto's grin. Flashback end. Naruto was currently waiting for his teammates at Training Ground 7, standing upside down on a tree, his weight 75 pounds each, reading an intermediate level Fuinjutsu book while leaves were sticking to him. After a few minutes Sasuke arrived at the field, and it seems he didn't notice him, but Naruto just continued to train. Soon he felt Sakura's chakra signature approaching, and soon she arrived at the field, approaching Sasuke to his dismay. Hey Sasuke-kun, how are you this morning? Sakura asked, but sadly she was ignored. Sasuke was just leaning against the tree Naruto was on with his eyes closed. Sakura started looking around like she was searching for something. Hey, Where is Naruto? Like I care. The Uchiha responded. Yeah, you're right. Who needs that baka? The Pinkett responded. Naruto would have normally responded, but he remembered what his new sensei said. Flashback. Naruto. There are many ways to win a battle, and one of them is emotions. Yugao said while doing kenjutsu sparring with Naruto. And. Why? Is it? Naruto asked, panting. Emotions like anger cloud your thinking and cause you to do reckless things or cost your teammates their lives. Naruto nodded. Remember Naruto, you are in control. Yugao said, clashing with the blonde again. Flashback end. Naruto ignored the comment instead of making himself noticed. He continued his studies and exercise until he felt his sensei near, so he quickly put his book away and laid on the branch. Soon Kakashi arrived in a puff of smoke. You're late. The Pinkett yelled. Sorry, I saw a new book on sale and I was waiting in such a long line to get a copy. The Jonin explained. Liar. Sakura yelled. Anyway, are you three ready for another day? Kakashi asked, confusing Sakura. What do you mean? 3, Sensei. Naruto is not even here yet. Sakura replied. Kakashi gave her an eye smile. What do you mean? Naruto has been here the whole entire time. Sakura and Sasuke's eyes widened and started looking around but couldn't find him. They then turned to their sensei and saw he was pointing up with his index finger, so they both looked up to see their blonde teammate there, like Kakashi said, meditating. When did he get there? The Uchiha asked himself. He could have at least said good morning. Sakura said. Naruto noticed his team looking at him and decided to hop down. Naruto, if you were here the whole entire time, why didn't you say anything? Naruto turned to the girl, then did 3 hand signs and a puff smoke surrounded him. When the smoke cleared, another Sakura was there. Yay, who needs that baka? We don't need Naruto. Sakura said, before dispelling and turning back to Naruto. Does that answer your question, Sakura? Naruto asked. Sakura was surprised. Naruto never talked to her like that, and he didn't even add the chan like he usually does. Naruto, are you okay? I'm fine. He then turned to face her. I just did some thinking and decided to give up on you. To say Sakura, Kakashi and even Sasuke was surprised was understatement, but the blonde kept speaking. You told me you'll never go out with me even though I really liked you and treated you better than Tem. But all you did was shout at me and hit me. Well, if you want to follow someone who doesn't even like you, that's fine, because I'm not about to do the same. I just hope you're happy and don't regret it. Naruto finished, turning his face back to his sensei. Sakura didn't know what to feel. She was happy that Naruto was going to stop pestering her, but somewhere in her heart there was pain because she felt like she just lost the one person who thought so highly of her. Well, no, that's out of the way. Why won't we start off with a spar? Naruto, Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke approached the field with the Uchiha smirking. Ready to lose, Dobi? Sasuke taunted. Naruto didn't respond and kept his gaze on Sasuke, ready for the signal to start. Kakashi was surprised by the change of his student but initiated the battle. Hajime. Naruto charged at Sasuke with speed, surprising his teammates, but Sasuke smirked. The Dobi thinks he is better than me, I'll put him in his place. When Naruto got in his range, Sasuke back his fist, getting ready to deliver a blow to the blonde Jinchuriki. Fortunately for Naruto, no one noticed his smirk. Flashback. Naruto and Yugao were at Ichiraku with Jonin explaining something to the blonde. Naruto-kun, do you know what strength and weakness are? The blonde nodded. Do you know what your strengths and weaknesses are? Naruto shook his head sideways. Your weakness is your chakra control, but that is because your chakra level is a size of cage, so controlling that much will take time. And we cannot forget your endless stamina. Note to self, keep that info from Anko. Because of your stamina you can wear out an opponent and strike him down easier. All you have to do is. Flashback end. Sasuke threw a fist at Naruto, but then the blonde surprised him when he jumped over the Uchiha, getting behind him and swept kicking. Before the Uchiha could get up, Naruto pulled out a kunai and pointed at Sasuke's neck. Give up. Sasuke gritted his teeth and smacked Naruto's hand and rushed him, unleashing a barrage of attacks. Meanwhile, Naruto kept parrying his attacks while moving backwards. Kakashi was amazed that Sasuke couldn't land a hit on the blonde, but no one was more shocked than Sakura. Kakashi-sensei, why can't Sasuke-kun land a hit on Naruto? The Pinkett asked. Kakashi ignored his female student and tried to figure out why Naruto didn't bother to attack. Sasuke was seething. As he was attacking, he noticed Naruto was getting faster, so to even the playing field he decided to activate his Sharingan. The moment he did, Naruto smirked, which didn't go unnoticed from Kakashi. What is Naruto planning? From what I'm witnessing, it seems like he wanted Sasuke to activate his Sharingan, but why? Kakashi pondered. I see your little trick. You're using chakra to increase your speed to make you seem untouchable. Well, whatever you can do, I can do better, Sasuke taunted. Sakura was starstruck at Sasuke's so-called coolness. Sasuke-kun is so cool. He saw right through Naruto's trick and now he's going to win. Sakura squealed. Naruto just smiled and added more chakra to his step to increase speed, while Sasuke did the same, still trying to land a blow on him, but his attacks were still being blocked and avoided. Why would Naruto use more chakra to increase his speed? It's not like he could hide now from Sasuke now that his Sharingan is active. If this continues, Kakashi's eye widened when he realized what Naruto was planning. If I'm right about what he's doing, then this fight is over. A few minutes later, after Sasuke activated his Sharingan, he was panting while gasping for air. Naruto was waiting for this. He charged Sasuke and went for an uppercut, and being too tired to dodge, Sasuke took it head on, was sent in the air. Naruto then leapt in the air and kicked Sasuke in the stomach, sending him to the ground unable to move. Kakashi walked in between the boys, analyzing both of them before raising a hand towards Naruto. Winner is Naruto. Sakura's mouth was wide open. Naruto beat Sasuke in 2 hits, while Sasuke couldn't even land a hit. Naruto won, but how? Sasuke is an Uchiha and had his Sharingan. I don't understand. Sakura said out loud. And that's why he lost, Kakashi said, walking back towards the girl with Naruto at his side. What do you mean? When Naruto first charged Sasuke and dodged his attack, then delivered that low sweep and had him pinned. He knew Sasuke would try to strike back, and just like that he started leading Sasuke on. He added little chakra to his feet to dodge all Sasuke's attacks, waiting for him to use his Sharingan, and the moment he did, Sasuke he started to copy Naruto, and by doing that Naruto's victory was secured. I still don't understand, Sakura responded. It's simple, Sakura. Sasuke lost because of his stamina and chakra exhaustion. I'm sure you're aware of this. Naruto most likely has more chakra than me, you and Sasuke combined. So even though he started to use chakra to speed up first, he was barely making a dent in his reserves. And even though Sasuke wasn't using chakra, he was getting physically exhausted chasing after Naruto, and after he figured out Naruto's trick and started to mimic him, Naruto added more chakra to his steps and Sasuke did the same. Unknowingly to Sasuke, he was running out of chakra faster than Naruto was using his Sharingan at the same time. So basically Naruto uses Sasuke's own Sharingan against him. Kakashi explained. So Naruto only won because he tricked Sasuke-kun. If it was a test of skill, there would be no way Naruto could. Not true, Sakura. The blonde spoke. If I went on the attack in the beginning, I probably would have won sooner. With my stamina and chakra level 1 wouldn't have given Sasuke no room to do anything. Naruto finished. But Sasuke-kun has Sharingan. Sakura replied. And I still beat him. So face it, Sakura, no one is invincible. Now, calm down, Naruto. Good job on winning your spar, and utilizing your strengths to your advantage. Let's head to the Hokage Tower, grab a D-rank mission, then take a break after Sasuke is done resting. Kakashi said. No. The three turned to see Sasuke get up. I want a rematch with the Dobi. I will not accept the fact he won that fight using a trick. Sasuke sneered. But we're shinobis. Tricks is what we do. Naruto said, walking towards the Hokage office. Sasuke was about to retaliate, but Kakashi put his hand on Sasuke's shoulders, shaking his head, and they proceeded to the tower. Naruto, next time we fight, I'm going to put you in your place. The Uchiha snarled to himself. Later that afternoon, after completing a couple D-rank missions, Kakashi gave everyone a break. Sasuke decided to go train some more, while Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving Naruto and Sakura alone. Naruto was about to follow suit and leave, but he was stopped when he felt a hand grab his wrist. He turned to see Sakura looking at the ground nervously. Naruto, do you want to go to Ichiraku's with me? Naruto's eyes widened and he had nothing to say, which made Sakura scared. I understand if you don't want to. And no, it's fine. Sure, I'll love to. Naruto answered with a smile, which Sakura returned in full. When they both approached the ramen stand, Naruto and Sakura are greeted with a hello by Chuki and a hug by Ayame. Naruto then ordered 2 bowls of beef ramen, and Sakura was about to order vegetarian until Naruto convinced her to eat something more calories, which caused the pinkett to complain until the blonde, with the help of Ayame, explained if she didn't she will grow up being as flat as a board, since she will have nothing to burn when she's active on a mission or training. The results were uncanny when Sakura ordered 3 bowls of ramen, being pork, beef and 1 veg. After eating, Sakura decided to speak. Naruto, I'd like to apologize. Naruto kirked an eyebrow and stared at the girl. I thought about what you said, and I really want to apologize. Why? Just so I can become her fanboy again. No thank you. Naruto thought to himself, in doubt of the pinkett's sincerity. Even if you don't believe me, I truly mean it. I made fun of you, hit you several times without restraint, disrespect you. I've done nothing but mistreat you every day, and all you've done was support me and have my back when no one else would. Sakura stated as she clenched her fist while facing the ground with her eyes closed. A single tear began to make its way down her cheek as she pleaded. I'm sorry, Naruto. I'm so sorry. You're the best friend. No, the best person that I have in my life, and I've been taking that for granted. Naruto was shocked at the apology. You think of me as a best friend? The blonde asked. Sakura's eyes shot up and met Naruto's, her eyes filled with tears and pain. Yes, Naruto, I didn't before. I took you for granted and I didn't appreciate it. I never realized how happy you made me every day, every compliment, every effort to get my attention. I loved it all and I love having you in my life. Sakura said with both of her hands over her heart as if it was in pain. She was afraid to hear his response, afraid that her apology would be rejected. Sakura, Naruto said, causing the pinkett to jump in fear. If you ever thought that I would stop supporting you, then you're an idiot for thinking that. I would never give up on my friends, and I will always have your back and give you my support every day. So don't ever think that's going away anytime soon. I'm still the same guy you've always known, Dadbeo. Sakura's eyes glue, surprised that Naruto accepted her apology. He forgives me. No, I shouldn't be surprised, the pinkett thought to herself. Unconsciously she began to walk towards him. It's Naruto after all. Naruto's eyes grew as wide as they could with Sakura's arms wrapped around the back of his neck and kissed him. Naruto was surprised at the amount of passion and love that was in the kiss, but not wanting to disappoint, he returned the kiss. After a couple seconds, the two separated and were out of breath. Sakura looked at what she had done and started to blush. I'm so sorry, Naruto. I don't know what came over me. Are we, still friends? Sakura asked nervously. Naruto smiled. The best. Sakura smiled and looked nervously at her empty bowls. So how was it? That was my first kiss after all. Sakura asked. Enjoyable. I'm glad I got the honor of being your first. Naruto answered. Great. And can we keep this a secret? It's not that I'm ashamed. I just still have feelings for Sasuke. Naruto gave a heartbroken look of defeat. But I think I'm starting to like you as well. Sakura added, causing the blonde to look at her. I just need time to sort things out. Don't worry, Sakura-chan. No matter who you choose, I will support you and we will be best friends till the end. Sakura gave the boy a loving smile, and after they were done eating, Naruto walked the girl home and decided to head home to train. Nice going, kid. You snagged the pink one, but she's just the beginning. But enough about that. Can you sense that? Naruto stopped and concentrated to figure out what Kuruma was referring to. Then he turned to the direction of an eating district. It feels like sadness and loneliness. But it feels like the type of loneliness that I felt before we became friends, and I joined Team 7. Whoever it belongs to doesn't deserve this loneliness. Kid, you should try to feel the other emotions around the person. Naruto closed his eyes for a moment before reopening it. As that pheromones, lust, and it's coming from more than one person. I think I know who the loneliness belongs to. I heard of a kunoichi who was betrayed and treated wrong from Gigi, so I decided to look for her so I can make a friend, but I could never find her. Naruto proceeded towards where the emotion was, and noticed it was coming from a dango shop. When he went in, he saw a woman with purple hair in a fan-like ponytail, wearing a orange skirt, with a fishnet shirt and legging to match, with armor on them. But what caught his attention was her eyes. She was alone, and wearing a mask like he does. And to make matters worse, the lust he was sensing was coming off two male chunins. If I didn't know better, it would seem they're trying to get their wed and she's not willing. Scum like this gives men like us a bad name. I'm ending this. I'm with you, kid. Let's go. Naruto approached the three without them noticing. But what he heard next pissed him off even more. Come on, don't be like this. We just all want a good time. One of the chunin said. I said beat. Before you end up in the hospital, with unrecoverable injuries. The women threatened. Who's going to make us? You lucky to even be wanted, considering who you are, snake whore. The second chunin retorted, making the kunoichi flinch. One of the chunin reaches for her wrist, but to his and the other one's surprise, someone grabbed his wrist and gripped it tight, causing the chunin to grunt and turn to the owner of the hand. Who they saw surprised for a while, but it soon turned to irritation. What do you want? Demon brat, you have no business here. Actually, that's where you are wrong. As a Konoha shinobi, it's our duty to protect each other, not harass others. Now would you be so kind and leave this beautiful woman alone? Naruto asked calmly, with cold eyes. Or what? I find it funny how you are protecting this woman. Don't you know who she is? She's the snake whore no one cares about. She'll sleep with any guy just to feel wanted. Ah, I see. Maybe you want a turn. Well, get in line, kid. The second one said. Naruto's hair covered his eyes and he was shaking. Anko didn't notice and was afraid that this kid was going to look down on her like everyone else. But she broke out of thought when she heard him mumble something. What did you say, brat? The same chunin asked. Leave her alone, or you'll deal with me. Naruto threatened with his crimson eyes and demonic voice, causing the two chunin to run and scream, while Kuruma was laughing in the back of Naruto's mind, while Anko was surprised that someone defended her knowing who she was. Naruto turned around and sat at the same table before speaking. Sorry about my gender. Those guys should be ashamed of themselves. Anyway, I always wanted to meet you, Anko-chan. Can I please get some dangos over here? Really, brat? Why on earth would you want to meet me? If it's to get boned, you mind as well. That's not the reason. I wanted to be friends with you for a long time since Gigi, I mean the Hokage, told me about you. Naruto answered. Anko was shocked to her core that she could possibly have another friend, but she needed to know why. You want to be my friend? May I ask why? Naruto signed and decided to drop his emotional mask. Look into my eyes and you'll get your answer. Anko was confused, but decided to test it out. What she saw in his eyes, her heart almost broke. This kid had the same eyes as her. Loneliness, be hated, abandoned, sadness and long for love. He noticed and decided to speak. As you know, I'm a Jinchuriki, and ever since I was born, I've been targeted for attacks and the villagers' hatred. One day I asked Gigi how come I was the only one that felt alone, but he said that wasn't true. He told me there was a kunoichi who's just as lonely, no parents and very little friends. I had hoped that I could find you, but he said you would be near training ground 44 and I shouldn't go near there until I became a genin, but to my misfortune I could never find you. Naruto explained. Anko's heart was racing that there was someone in this kami-forsaken village that wouldn't treat her like an outcast and went through so much trouble to find her. Anko was unsure what to do, but this kid wore a mask and dropped it for her, so she decided to do the same and let her true self out, so she reached for his hands and held it in her own, causing the blonde to look at her. What he noticed was she was sobbing quietly and looked at him with pleading eyes. Do you really want to be my friend? Naruto smiled with tears coming down as well. Yes, I do. She gripped his hands harder. You won't abandon me. No, I won't. And you're okay with me being the snake whore. As long as you're okay with me being the demon brat. Anko smiled and nodded. Well, it's good to finally meet you, hubby Haim. Anko blushed at the nickname and put on a flirtatious grin. Same to you, Foxy-kun. After the introduction, they start to get to know each other's hobbies and dreams. They even had a playful argument about what food was better between ramen and dangos. Anko, however, scowled when Naruto told her about how his team treated him and at Kakashi not training the blonde favoring the Uchiha. She was happy to hear that he made up with the pink head and surprised to find out that Yugao was training him a kenjutsu and other related techniques. So in honor of their new friendship, Anko was going to teach Naruto about stealth and assassination techniques and some snake-style moves. She also was going to get another friend who was a genjutsu specialist, guess who, to help the blonde in chakra control. And in return, Naruto promised to study more Fuinjutsu to get the seal off Anko's neck, which caused the girl to hug the blonde, pressing his face in her assets, which she didn't mind. After the conversation, the two bid farewell with Anko licking Naruto's cheek, which she explained as a way of marking him. Next day, 8 a.m. Naruto was looking through a book of Fuinjutsu intermediate level, while he had some clones around his apartment do affinity training. He needed to find a way to purge the seal of Anko, but first he had to understand it. From what Anko told him, all she knows is there is a slave seal and storage seal with Petamaru genes in it, but the third seal was unknown. He was broken out his thoughts when he heard someone knock on his door. He released his clones and went to the door and opened it to find a beautiful kunoichi with raven black hair, red eyes and red lipstick. She was wearing a red blouse with bandages wrapped around her body. Excuse, but are you Naruto? The kunoichi asked. Hi, who are you? The blonde responded. Before I answer any questions, do you mind if I come? The kunoichi asked. Ah, my apologies. To leave a beautiful lady outside like this is disrespectful. Please make yourself at home. The kunoichi blushed and walked in. When she stepped in, she noticed the apartment was a lot cleaner than she thought. And on his porch he had a mini garden, not a hobby most guys would bother with. She then looked at his dining table and noticed books about Fuinjutsu, Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, and chakra affinity. She broke out of thought when she heard his voice. Do you want some tea? The blonde asked. Sure, thank you. He then brought a cup to her and sat down at the table with her. She then decided to introduce herself. First off, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Kurenai Yuhi. You probably know me as the leader of Team 8. Hinata-chan sensei, what can I do for you? Well, first, I like to thank you. You probably are unaware, but Anko is my best friend and like a sister to me. When I met up with her yesterday night, she told me about what event went on at the dango shop, and she wouldn't stop talking about her new friend. As you know, she didn't really have any friends growing up and you made her so happy, it brought joy to my heart. So thank you, Naruto-kun. Surprising the blonde, she reached up and cupped his cheek, kissing it slightly, causing him to blush, and rubbed the back of his head. Kurenai smirked. He has a big heart and is very innocent. If he was older, I would probably keep him for myself, not that age matters in the world of shinobi. The Jonin thought, and the second reason I'm here is because I was told you might need help with chakra control and genjutsu. I already know Anko-chan and Yugao-san is training you as well, but that doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Naruto eyes widen and smile. Thank you Kurenai-sensei, I won't let you down. Kurenai smiled. Kurenai-chan is fine Naruto-kun. Hokage office. Jiraiya, did you find her? The old man asked his former student. Yes I did, but are you sure she'll come back because the Gaki is alive? He questioned. I'm positive, I have reason to believe that someone told her Naruto-kun perished alongside his parents. When I last messaged her, she wrote back saying she would have stayed if Minato Kushina or their son survived. Jiraiya was shocked at this. Which means she was fed false information, I'll see if I can convince. Jiraiya was cut off. No, you will tell her I order her to come back. Naruto needs her and she needs him. They both suffer from the loss of family. I've been lenient with her, but it's about time Tsunade and you two Jiraiya train the boy, like godparents should. Hiruzen ordered with key feeling the air. Jiraiya nodded and disappeared. Yugao. The purple-head Jonin appeared from thin air. Bring me my guy. The last few months Naruto's skills improved at a fast pace, thanks to his new senseis. He learned the basics of Kenjutsu and was learning his mother's whirlpool style, even though the blonde was unaware of this. Naruto switched from Kodachi to a longsword, since the whirlpool style required it, and the blonde also explained that the Kodachi didn't feel right to him. While they were training, he was introduced to Tenten, who stumbled upon them and was drawn to the two sword users immediately. Naruto soon bonded with the girl since he discovered they were both orphans. Yugao decided to train her a bit as well since it would be beneficial to Naruto if he sparred with someone his own age, and plus she grew fond of Tenten. Anko was using the weights Naruto was wearing to her advantage. She brought Naruto to the Forest of Death, and to her surprise Naruto thought it was awesome, showing no fear, but that soon changed when Anko and Naruto dodged kunais and shurikens all day. After training, Anko and Naruto would go out to Ichiraku's or the dango shop to eat and hang out, which again, Anko took advantage of. She would tease Naruto most of the time and it made her feel attractive whenever he would blush around her. It wasn't hard to say Anko developed a crush for the blonde and very attached. Kurenai made Naruto perform the tree walking and water walking exercise while using clones and sticking leaves to them. She was impressed by Naruto's development, which confused her. From what Kiba told her, Naruto was the dead last of the class, but she was seen telling her otherwise. When she confronted the blonde about it, she was livid to find out that most of the teachers sabotaged his learning and didn't help that no one taught him basic taijutsu. But admiration grew for Naruto when she learned he wanted to be Hokage regardless of how the village sees him. Might Guy is probably the toughest one of them all, especially since shadow clones would do any good. He did 10 laps around the village, following up with 500 push-ups, sit-ups, and crunches. And after he would spar with either him or his mini-clone Rock Lee. Naruto knew after facing the genin that if they ever fought he would be a threat. But what scared him the most was the performance of the horrible genjutsu the two green beasts were able to perform. Kuruma was probably one of the biggest help, with his knowledge on jutsu, and Fox style helped with Naruto's stamina. The Kyuubi was also training him on using his chakra by feeding it to him, getting used to it. Kuruma also messed with Naruto genetics by unlocking his Senju bloodline, giving him earth affinity, and he developed a fire affinity because of the Kyuubi chakra. But Naruto also learned that the fox was a pervert always trying to get him laid. His excuse was that Naruto was the first male jailer he had, and he deserved to have all the vixens to himself. Naruto was about to dismiss the idea until Kuruma informed him that most of the girls around him were slowly becoming attracted to him and he would hurt their feelings, playing into the blonde weakness. At the moment, Naruto along with the rest of the team was at the Hokage office receiving their next mission. I'm glad your team can make Kakashi. Now that you're here, I have a special mission. AB rank mission. There's a bandit camp located outside the village. I need you to eliminate them. I have sources that say they are selling Konoha weaponry, Sarutobi said. Sakura was nervous when she heard the word eliminate, and Naruto noticed. Excuse me Gigi, but when you say, eliminate, do you mean? Sarutobi nodded, causing Naruto to sign. I see. Naruto gave Sakura a side glance which went unnoticed by everyone but the Hokage. Don't worry, we'll get it done. Now come along my cute little genin. Kakashi. Soon the three followed their sensei trapped in their own thoughts. Finally I can finally test my skills, and soon I will be one step closer to killing him. Sasuke thought with a smirk. Do I really have to kill some? I mean I know we're ninjas and all but. Sakura thought to herself. Naruto was behind the group, watching from behind. When they made it outside, Kakashi instructed them to pack for a 3-day trip. When Naruto arrived at his apartment, Yugao was there smiling holding a katana with a red hilt. I think you're ready for this, she said, holding out the sword. Naruto slowly took in his hand, unsheathing it halfway. It felt so familiar to him but didn't know why. It's called a Kai Arashi, Red Storm, or Arashi for short. It belongs to your mother. Naruto's face shot up so fast with mixed emotions, Yugao noticed and decided to clarify some things. Yes, I knew your mother. She was the one who trained me. But under orders from her very last breath, I was told not to inform you until you at least Chunin level. She had multiple enemies, and yes, I knew your father, but we can't inform you until you are a Jonin level. Understand. I understand, and thanks for training me. Naruto responded. Do misunderstand me, we are not done with your training, but good'll UCK nonetheless. Yugao bent down and hugged the blonde. She stood back up and gave Naruto a devilish smirk. But before you leave anywhere, no student of mine is wearing a kill me monstrosity. Yes, finally, I don't have to look at that horrible jumpsuit ever again. Kuruma cheered. Naruto's sweat dropped a bit. It's not that bad, is it? Naruto argued. Kuruma and Yugao gave him a deadpan look. Naruto signed. Fine. Anything else? Yugao smiled. I'm going to show you a sword sealing jutsu, that way you can seal it on your arm. And that'll be all. Village gate. Sasuke and Sakura were waiting at the gate for their third teammate, and their sensei. Sakura was getting impatient while Sakura was trying to find a way to talk to him. You should ask him what he thinks about us, that way you could see where they stand. Sakura nodded, and approached the emo. Sasuke-kun. Sasuke didn't even spare a glance, but she continued. What do you think of me as a person? Sakura asked. Sasuke turned his head towards her with a cold look, making the girl shiver. You want to know what I think? Sakura nodded. I think you are just useless dead weight, just an annoying fangirl who can't take no for an answer. I don't even know why you became a ninja. And just to make another thing clear, I will never like you or that useless Yamanaka. You're better off with the dobi. Sasuke finished before turning back around. Sakura's heart took a nosedive and she fell to her knees beginning to cry until another voice was heard. Well, you know what I think. Sakura and Sasuke turned to the voice and saw Naruto but in a different attire. He was wearing a blue jacket opened with a fishnet shirt underneath that showed his muscle gain from his training with the green blue jacket had orange stripes coming down the sleeve with the Uzumaki swirl on the back. He wore black cargo pants and sandals with his headband tied around his neck letting his hair free, which seemed longer than before. Sakura was blushing up a storm at this new look. As that Naruto, he looks so cool, so mature, so hot. Damn it, we shouldn't have rejected him all those times he asked us out. If I knew just a change of clothes was enough to turn him from an idiot to a smoking hot stud arg. Inner yelled, with Sakura nodded in agreement. I think Sakura is pretty smart and beautiful to add. So she's a fangirl, a step in the right direction she can become stronger than you. Naruto's comment caused Sakura to blush, and Sasuke to stomp towards the blonde standing face to face with him. How dare you? No civilian bitch can become stronger than a Uchiha, especially an elite like me. After all, only a Uchiha can beat a Uchiha. Sasuke sassed. Naruto glared back causing Sasuke to shiver and step backwards a bit. First of you Uchiha, Sakura isn't a bitch, she's our teammate, and our comrade. Second, if it takes a Uchiha to beat a Uchiha, tell that to the first, second and fourth Hokage, Haku and Zabuza who kicked your, and me who beat you in our spar 2 months ago. Naruto argued. Sasuke threw a punch at Naruto but the blonde disappeared making the emo confused until he felt something sharp against his neck. What happened? I thought a Uchiha could beat a Uchiha, yet you're the one with a kunai at his throat. Sasuke turned around to see Naruto glaring at him while releasing some ki. Sakura was amazed at Naruto and her opinion on him shot up. Sasuke was seething. Alright, calm down everyone, we have a mission to do. Kakashi said, appearing out of nowhere. Naruto moved away from the Uchiha, who was glaring daggers at him, to stand next to the Pinkett giving her a warm smile. Is everyone ready? The 3 genin nodded. Kakashi then leapt into the trees with the others following with Sasuke in the front, Naruto in the middle, and Sakura in the back. Naruto slowed down a bit to move next to Sakura, grabbing the girl's attention. Don't worry, no matter what happens, I'll protect you and if you need to talk after the mission I'm all ears. Naruto said, giving her a warm smile. Sakura returned it, grateful that the teammate she used to bully was being so nice to her. It's weird, she always pictured Sasuke as her knight, keeping her safe, feeling her with confidence and giving her the warm feeling she currently has, but Naruto was doing it instead. Thanks Naruto-kun. Naruto nodded and the two proceeded to follow the 2 Sharingan wielders. A day later, Team 7 arrived in the trees outside the bandit camp, trying to gather whatever intel they could. There were 2 huts, big enough to hide at least 10 people, but Jonin was unsure, he needed to figure out at least an estimate. There are 23 people. Kakashi turned his head to the blonde, giving him a questionable look. I said there's 23 bandits. How do you know that, Dobi? Sasuke asked. Naruto, Are you able to sense other people's chakra? Kakashi questioned. Naruto nodded. But it's strange. What is Naruto-kun? Sakura asked. Well, from my understanding, normal bandits have chakra levels of an academy student, correct? Kakashi nodded. Then we have a problem. There are 2 chakra signatures between yours and the Tem. I think there are 2 Chunins here. Naruto added. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. Where are they? Kakashi asked. There is one in each tent. If you don't mind, may I recommend something? Kakashi nodded, giving the okay. Now that we know there are at least 2 ninja, I think we should capture one for interrogation. Good idea, Naruto. I'm proud of you. Now I think we should split up. You 3 go to the left hut, I'll capture the one on the right, so don't hold anything back. Kakashi instructed. I don't plain. Time to show these guys why you shouldn't mess with the elite. Sasuke said with an arrogant smirk. Naruto just shook his head in disgust, while Sakura found his attitude disapproving, so Naruto, being the smarter one of the 2, decided to voice his opinion. Fine, you can have the shinobi, but let me at least make some shadow clones to take out the bandits. Naruto offered. Sasuke scoffed at the offer. Who do you think I am? A Uchiha doesn't need help from 2 nobodies. But he didn't get to finish because Naruto grabbed him by his collar, bringing the Uchiha to eye level. Sakura was nervous. She wanted to defend her crush, but she didn't want to ruin her new relationship with Naruto. Listen here, Tem. We're on a mission for the village, and I will not have us fail this mission because of your reckless ego. To you it might just be a way to test your imagination strength, but you will not put me and Sakura-chan lives at risk. Naruto spatted, causing Sasuke to hiss and Sakura to blush. He then threw Sasuke to the ground and made 11 clones. Listen, I want you to quietly take out anyone with lower chakra reserves than Sakura, and do it quietly. The clones nod and disappear. Sasuke was seething with anger and walked up to the blonde. How dare you treat me like that? I'm an elite and you should bow to me. I wanted to fight them to test my skills and I will not let you get in the way of my ambitions. Sasuke practically yelled. Naruto glared at the emo, ready to knock him out until he started throwing up. Sakura ran towards the blonde, worried for her blonde teammate, while Sasuke took the opportunity to leap away. Naruto-kun, are you okay? What happened? Sakura asked. My clones. Huff. Took out all the bandits. Naruto answered. Seeing Sakura's confused face, he decided to explain. When a person has their first kill, they experience trauma, right? Sakura nodded. Well, since my clone killed 11 bandits, and I just gained their memories, I just experienced it 11x. Sakura's eyes widened and began to hug the blonde, rubbing his back, in an attempt to comfort him. Why would you do that? Sasuke and I would have been able to help you. It's Sasuke now. No, Sasuke-kun. Naruto teased, making the pinkett blush, trying to lighten the situation. But to answer your question, I saw how nervous you were when we were handed the mission. I figure you couldn't bring yourself to take a life, so. Naruto was cut off. You did this for me. Naruto nodded, causing the girl to hug him tight before her, making the blonde blush. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled and hugged the girl back. No problem. Now let's go find Prince Emo, before he gets into trouble. Sakura was about to argue until he put a hand on her shoulder, giving her a warm smile. I'm fine, but if you want we can talk after the mission. Naruto offered. Sakura agreed and together they proceeded to follow their other teammate. In the hut. What's going on? And why did it get so quiet? Stupid fools. Can't trust no one these days. Yelled a shinobi wearing what seems to be a Chunin vest. Well, that's something we can agree on. The shinobi turned around to see Sasuke standing there with a smug look. You should feel honored. After all, it's not every day someone has the honor to face a Uchiha elite. An Uchiha? Ha ha ha, like I give a damn. I'm still going to kill your brat. The ninja charged at Sasuke with a sword in his hand, while Sasuke whipped out 2 kunais and activated his Sharingan. The enemy nin brought his sword down into a horizontal slash towards Sasuke, which the Uchiha blocked, but to his dismay forced him down to one knee, struggling to get up. The enemy then kicked Sasuke into the gut, sending him back, but Sasuke regained his balance, tossing the 2 kunai at his enemy, which was parried by the sword user. For a Uchiha, you're sure not nothing great. The enemy taunted, making Sasuke glare at the shinobi. You dare mock the great Uchiha clan? Sasuke yelled in anger, then went through a couple hand signs, which didn't go unnoticed. Kaden. Gukaku no Jutsu. Fire style. Fireball Jutsu. Sasuke shot out a huge forel towards the mystery shinobi, but he was not prepared for a counter. Sweden no Jutsu. Water style. Water bullet. Both of the jutsus headed directly for each other, and when they met, the water jutsu pierced Sasuke fire, hitting the Uchiha, sending towards the wall. That was too easy. Now it's time to finish this. The shinobi charged Sasuke with the sword in hand, preparing to strike the final blow, while Sasuke had his eyes closed waiting for it to be over, but the moment he brought his sword down, it was blocked by another. Looking up, the shinobi saw a boy with blonde hair standing in front of him holding a sword with a red hilt. He then jumped away a few feet with a smile on his face. Well, another swordsman. Tell me, what's your name, Gaki? Before Naruto could answer, Sasuke interrupted from behind the blonde, while Sakura was tending to him. Why are you here? Sasuke asked. Naruto didn't answer since he was focusing on the enemy, which frustrated the Uchiha more. Answer me, damn it. Sasuke, we're here to help you. After all, we're a team and we have to stick together. Sakura answered with a small smile. Sasuke scoffed at the reply, pushing Sakura away from him. I don't need help from someone as pathetic as you. I'm a Uchiha elite. I could handle this guy by myself. I'm not weak like you. Sasuke spat, causing the girl's heart to crush. He then turned to Naruto, who was still focused on the enemy. That goes for you as well, dead last. This is my battle and I will not be outdone by you. Naruto looked over his shoulder, glaring at the Uchiha, which made the emo shiver, but didn't respond and turned his head towards the enemy. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. And you, Kisuga, I want to request a battle as a fellow swordsman. I might be an enemy, but as a fellow swordsman it will be an honor to fight a holder of Arashi. He pulled out a new longsword from a scroll, similar to Naruto's, but the hilt was light blue. I'll be using this, Umi Bunkatsu, see split. Naruto could feel power coming from the blade, just like his Arashi. What's with the aura coming from our swords? I can feel the power radiating towards each other. Naruto asked, getting the attention of a power-hungry Uchiha at the mention of the word. If you win, I'll tell ya. Kisuga charged at the blonde Jonin level speed, slashing down. Naruto, reacting fast enough, thanks to Anko's training, countered with a horizontal slash. When the two blades met, it caused a shockwave, sending a gust of wind everywhere. Sasuke and Sakura had to cover their eyes to block out the wind. Meanwhile, Naruto and Kisuga were at a stalemate. For someone so young, it comes to a surprise that you're able to block my attack. Kisuga then started to release a barrage of attacks towards the blonde, which Naruto was struggling to parry. Kid, this guy is way more experienced than you are. I was coming up with a new dojutsu for you. I'll explain what it does later, but for now, hurry and focus some chakra in your eyes. Naruto nodded and did as instructed, and when he looked at Kisuga it seemed he was moving slower than before. Naruto then started to attack back, which was blocked. Kisuga started to get excited. I'm not sure what just happened with your movements, but this is great. Kisuga and Naruto jumped back from each other, both smirking at the other. Nice, Gaki, but can you stop this? Kisuga started to surround his Umi Bunkatsu with water, but Naruto could feel the power building from whatever attack was coming. Kid, start to do the same by focusing your wind chakra around Arashi, and when Kisuga releases his attack, you do the same. Kuruma instructed. Got it, thanks Kuruma, Naruto replied, before taking a similar stance as his opponent, doing what Kuruma instructed. Kisuga blade had a water vortex around it, while Naruto's had a tornado. After a few more seconds of charging, Kisuga thrust his sword forward. Mizu Ransu. Water Lance. Kisuga yelled, thrusting his sword with the water vortex coming out, heading towards the blonde, but Naruto was ready. Kei's Yari. Wind Spear. Naruto thrust his sword forward, sending out a spear made of wind towards the water attack. When they collided, there was a huge explosion, sending everyone flying, creating a huge dust cloud. Sakura was coughing, trying to get a clear view. When the dust cloud cleared, Naruto and Kisuga were standing across each other, breathing hard. Sakura was impressed at the blonde performance. Naruto-kun is so strong, he is amazing. I feel so useless, maybe after the mission I can get him to train me. Yeah, you go Naruto-kun. Kick his jaw. Inner cheered. Sasuke was seething in jealousy at the blonde's strength. How is the dobi so strong? He then eyed the weapons both the shinobi was using. That's it. The swords, I'll get the dobi to hand over the sword. After all, I'm an Uchiha and I deserve it more than that clanless nobody. He can't defy me. Sasuke thought with a greedy smirk, getting up and walking towards the battlefield. Sasuke, where are you going? We shouldn't. Sakura tried to say, but was cut off. Shut it, bitch. I will not be upstaged by a loser. Sasuke yelled, making the Pinkett flinch, causing the attention to turn to him. Naruto was disappointed, while Kisuga was slowly hating the Uchiha. Sasuke approached Naruto holding out his hand, which caused both the swordsmen to give him a confusing look. Dobi, I demand you hand over that sword. You don't deserve it and I'm pretty sure it would be better in my hands. After all, I'm an elite and need that power. Before Naruto could respond, Kisuga charged towards the Uchiha, kicking him in the chest and sending him towards the wall. Sasuke slowly looked up, gritting his teeth, to see Kisuga standing in front of him. Kid, I never seen someone so arrogant. I might be a bad guy, but you're just scum. So I'm going to do the world a favor and rid the world of you. Naruto started to run towards his teammate, with Sakura in tow. Kisuga brought his sword down towards Sasuke, preparing to finish him off. Sasuke was terrified, then he looked towards his right and smirked, which Naruto noticed. He followed his gaze and saw he was looking at Sakura, but the Uchiha smirk made him feel uneasy. Kit, the Uchiha is planning to kawaii me with the girl, I'm going to send some chakra through your feet. Naruto was alarmed and dashed forward with the help of Kurama chakra, increasing his speed. Sakura was running towards her former crush, preparing some kunai to defend, when she felt a pull in her stomach. All of a sudden she was in front of Kisuga, which the swordsman didn't notice until the last moment. Sakura closed her eyes, life flashing before eyes, and the last thing she saw was Naruto giving her his signature grin with his blue beautiful eyes gazing at her. After a while, when nothing happened, she slowly opened her eyes to see Naruto standing in front of her, arms spread protecting her. Kisuga and Sakura were surprised at the speed Naruto used to get there, but soon snapped out of thought, with the former leaping back and turning his gaze towards the emo. What kind of sick bastard switches places with his teammate? Kisuga yelled. Naruto fell backwards, grasping his chest while in Sakura's arms, the pinkett crying. She is expendable. She should feel honored to sacrifice her life for the asked of the great Uchiha clan, at least she was useful. Sakura, Naruto, and even Kisuga were shocked by the Uchiha words. Sakura slowly took off Naruto's jacket and turned it into a pillow and laid the blonde on it. She then got up and approached Sasuke with her head down, making Sasuke raise an eyebrow. What do you? But he didn't get to finish because Sakura threw a punch at his face, sending him flying with a chakra-enhanced punch. I'm not expendable and I would rather die than help you. Sakura yelled, causing Kisuga to whistle at the girl. Sasuke slammed into the ground and was now unconscious. Stupid prick, because of him, Naruto's hurt. Inner said. Sakura was angry at the unconscious emo, but was touched by the blonde for risking his life. She suddenly remembered the situation and turned to the swordsman with a kunai in her hand. Kisuga chuckled. Don't worry, I want to fight Naruto fair and square. I won't strike him while he's down, so I'll give him a couple minutes. Nice punch, by the way. Kisuga complimented. Sakura nodded. You're from Kiri, aren't you? Sakura asked. How did you know? Well, I saw your water attack, and you're a swordsman, so it kinda adds up. Sakura answered. Kisuga nodded. Then he and Sakura heard Naruto grunting and stood back up. But what shocked them was the scar on his chest was healed. Naruto-kun. I'm fine and nice punch. Naruto commented, making the girl blush. He then turned to Kisuga. I'm ready to finish. Fine, but after your teammate little stunt, let's end this with one attack, all or nothing. Naruto nodded and both sheathed their sword in a battle stance, pressure feeling the air. And for a brief moment they both disappeared and reappeared on the opposite side from their original spots. Naruto stabbed his sword into the ground using it as a crutch, but Kisuga fell to the ground with a cut to his chest, smiling. Looks like you win. Come here, Gaki. Naruto limped towards the falling warrior slowly because of exhaustion. Sakura, seeing this, put his arm around her shoulder. Grab my sword and cut your finger. Naruto was hesitant for a moment but did as he was instructed. The sword absorbed the blood and began to glow and stopped after a few seconds. Since this is my last breath, I'm giving you the sword. By marking it with your blood, it will only allow you to wield it. Thanks for the battle, by the way. The swords we hold are legendary swords, but they won't just allow anyone to use them. They choose their wielder, and I had a feeling it would choose you. Sorry about the cut, didn't mean for it to happen. Before I go, let me tell you, there are many legendary swords in the world, so find them and master them. By Gaki. And with that the swordsman closed his eyes. You know he wasn't that bad. Sakura commented. Naruto nodded and sat down with Sakura next to him. She then decided to do something bold and kiss the blonde on the cheek, making him flush. Thanks for saving me, Naruto-kun. She leaned on his shoulder while waiting for their sensei. Team 7 was in the Hokage giving reports about the mission. Kakashi was worried through the whole trip back. Naruto hadn't said a word to him or Sasuke, but would have casual conversation with Sakura. He even let Naruto have all the weapons from the bandits Sasuke defeated as punishment for the Uchiha's action towards Sakura. And speaking of said girl, Sakura's feelings for the two boys had done a 180, or should he said 200. While she never really hated Naruto, she was now reliant for the blonde, looking at him in a new light after his past actions. Naruto protecting her was a real eye-opener for her, and now she had a crush on Naruto or something more. As for Sasuke, Sakura had complete disdain for the boy. She couldn't even say his name without lacing it with venom. He was wondering if he could get them to work together for the Chunin exams in a few months. After finishing explaining about the mission, Kakashi was eyeing his leader to see his reaction, and as expected he was pissed. I see. For Sasuke Uchiha punishment, half of his mission pay will go towards Sakura Haruno. Hiruzen declared, making seethed. You can't do that. But the Uchiha was cut off by high killer intent. You better watch how you speak to me, boy. You may have the council under your feet but not I. When I say something, you listen am. I. Clear. Sasuke nodded his head weakly from the pressure of the key. Good. Now Team 7 you are dismissed, except for you Naruto. I believe we have a promise to fulfill. Kakashi and the emo proceeded to leave but Sakura stayed holding Naruto's hand tightly. Naruto figured this would happen, signing he turned his attention towards the Hokage. Gigi, is it okay if Sakura stays? I don't mind her listening. Naruto asked, surprising Hiruzen and Sakura. Are you sure Naruto-kun? I understand this is personnel for you. Sakura looked at Naruto with a guilty look. Whatever they were about to talk about was a private matter and she was feeling bad being here. It's okay Naruto-kun, I don't have to be here. All just. It's fine Sakura-chan, I trust you. After all, we're friends now and I was going to tell you anyway. Naruto said, giving her one of his warm smiles, causing the girl to blush. Alright, if you insist. Now as of promise I will tell you about your mother. Sakura whipped her head towards the Hokage and back at Naruto seeing a little excitement from his eyes. Your mother is not originally from this village, she's from Uzu just like the rest of your clan. But she was the sole survivor. Your mom was most likely the strongest female in the village next to Tsunade. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, she was feared for her fuinjutsu and kenjutsu. She had as much chakra as you and unlimited stamina. In the village, she was known as the Red Habanero for her fiery personality and red hair. But on the battlefield, she was known as the Red Death of Konoha. And just so you know she and your father loved you very much, the Sandaime finished. Naruto gave a real smile with tears coming out his eyes. He was glad he was loved and wanted. He also found it pretty awesome to be in a clan. Sakura smiled for her new friend, and gave him a warm hug, which was returned. And my father? Naruto asked, letting go of Sakura to the girl's dismay. I'm sorry Naruto, but on your father's orders, I was told not to give you any information regarding him until you reach Chunin. Also Sakura, this is a S-class secret, so only Naruto and I are allowed to share this information, understand? Sakura nodded. He turned his attention to Naruto and signed. Present time. Naruto still hasn't confronted the Uchiha about his action and it wasn't helping that a certain fox was telling him to kill the emo, which he was considering. While he was in thought, he didn't notice a shadow approaching him with a seductive grin. Well there you are Foxy-kun, I'm glad I caught you alone. Before Naruto could get up, he was straddled by Anko. Anko-chan, what are you doing here? Not that I don't miss you. I was looking to ask you something, but the look on your face tells me you're upset. Want to talk about it? Anko asked in concern. Naruto signs and begins to explain what took place on the mission. Anko was quiet for a while processing what she heard, then started leaking killer intent. So the emo prick thinks everyone is beneath and should be sacrificed for his cause. Well I bet your precious Anko-chan can change his mind. Don't bother, if you touch him, the council of douchebags will be up your. And frankly it's not worth it. True, those Uchiha kissers will do anything for their emo overlord. Anko said but remember what she came for. Looking at Naruto still in a bad mood, she decided to do something about it. While straddling the blonde, she slowly started to grate her hip against his crotch, making Naruto blush. Anko-chan what? What are you? Ha, what's the matter? Ha don't you like your Anko-chan? Anko moans, happy that her plan was working, while feeling happy her favorite blonde was enjoying this. She started to go faster, while gasping for air. Naruto was getting turned on and grabbed Anko's hips to help her. He didn't know why this was happening but wasn't complaining. As Anko moved her hips, she felt something poked her entrance, through her panties and smiled seductively. Someone's happy, but let's finish this. She kept going until both of them buckled their hips, moaning in sync, releasing their pent-up energy. The both were gasping for air breathing lightly, staring into each other's eyes warmly. Anko-chan, not that I didn't enjoy it, but why? Naruto asked, regaining his breath. Because for one, it was hot, Naruto nodded in agreement. 2. You were stressed, so this the only way I can come up with. Anko paused for a moment and bent down and gave him a small kiss causing both of them to blush. 3. I'll like you and was wondering if you wanted to go on a date with me. After 2 months of knowing you, I realized you were the only one who understood me. You treated me with respect and not like an outcast. Plus you're not uptight like most ninja, you value all your friends and I also like that prankster side of you. We're the same, hated, scorned and branded with a seal we didn't want. I feel safe with you. I feel like I can understand you as much as you can understand me. I never felt this way before so when I talked to Kurenai, she said I loved you. I'm not sure if it's true but I would like to give it a try, so what do you say? Naruto looked up into Anko's eyes and saw the desperation. He couldn't believe an older woman liked him and asked him on a date nonetheless. He thought about and couldn't come up with a reason not to, especially since out of everyone in the village, Anko was the one who understood him the most but still wasn't sure. Go for it, kid, trust me. Kuruma said out of the blue. Naruto turned to Anko, giving her a sincere smile. Sure, Anko-chan, why not? After all, I kinda like you a bit. Naruto answered. Anko squealed in joy and grabbed Naruto by the collar and gave him a deep passionate kiss. Naruto faced heat up and his brain was melting. Anko pulled a ways with a trail of drool connecting their mouths. Great. She then grabbed Naruto's hand and jumped off the mountain, both screaming in joy while falling towards the ground. Once they landed, the older Kunoichi proceeded to drag him through the village in the direction of the dango shop. The village glared at the two, but the two were enjoying selves to notice. Dango shop. Anko and Naruto were eating a whole plate of fruit dangos, while chatting about the mission. Well, Anko was eating the dangos and Naruto was feeding her. So Foxy-kun, tell me what went wrong with the mission. From your training, killing a few bandits should have been a walk in a park. It was easy, until the Uchiha decided to abandon the mission to boost his ego, and by exposing himself, almost got killed by a shinobi hiding among the bandits. Tem then fought him and lost, but wait, it gets worse. Naruto began leaking ki. He decided to substitute with Sakura-chan, and when I confronted him, you know what he said. Naruto yelled, scaring everyone in the shop. Flashback. Team 7 was taking a break from their mission, a few miles from the bandit camp. But things weren't going smoothly for the team, since Naruto had Sasuke pinned against a tree by his collar. Sasuke was glaring at the blonde, which was being returned tenfolds. Why? Why would you sacrifice Sakura-chan's life like that? Sasuke snorted. Why would you ask such a simple question? Because you tried to save me during the wave mission from Haku, but yet you almost killed Sakura-chan, the girl who devoted herself to you, no matter how you treat her. Because she's useless dead weight, I don't give a damn about her feelings. It's not my fault she likes me, and if she does, she should feel honored to die for me. After all, I'm an elite. And for the reason I save is to keep you alive until I surpass my brother. You might not have noticed, but I was conscious when you beat Haku. Your power was dark and hatred. You showed me my brother was right and I kept you alive to test myself against you, and when I almost died, I realized that I sacrificed my goal for nobody, me an elite. If I can overcome your hatred with my own, I will be one step closer to beating my brother. As for Sakura, she can die for all I care. Naruto's eyes started flashing red, his teeth sharpened and grip tightened. You bastard, Sakura is a living being, she is your equal. Do not compare me, an elite, to a useless expendable fangirl. I'm her better and superior, she's nothing but dead weight. Naruto his fist back and got ready to punch the Uchiha, until Kakashi grabbed his arm. Naruto, calm down, I'll handle this when we get back to the village. Kakashi ordered, but was shook a bit when he noticed Naruto's eyes. Fine, but keep me and Sakura-chan away from the high Uchiha, Naruto said, tossing Sasuke to the ground and going to sit by Sakura. End of flashback. Anko gritted her teeth after hearing the story. She never really was a fan of the Uchiha. He got everything on a silver platter while Naruto suffered, and the worst part, he refused love and acceptance from the village, the very thing she and Naruto wanted. The spoil prick, I'm shocked you didn't kill him. If it was me, I would have had torture him myself. Anko said. But if you did, the Kissing Council would have never let you get away with. Naruto said, getting a nod to Anko. I know, they would do anything for their little precious Uchiha. Anyway, now after listening to that, I need to vent. So Forest of Death for a little spar. Naruto smiled and nodded. He paid for the dangos, which Anko thanks by pecking him on the cheek and shunshin away. Minus 30 minutes later, Anko was jumping from tree to tree, dodging shuriken backpack to back. She landed on a tree, then blocked an axe kick from Naruto and grabbed his leg. She pulled him forward, then punched him in the face, causing him to turn to smoke. A bushin. Anko looked around and was impressed she couldn't find him. She soon sensed a presence and turned to see Naruto leaping towards and delivering a roundhouse kick. Anko ducked, but Naruto didn't give up. He threw a punch. Anko tilted her head, causing the punch to miss, and kneed Naruto, which he grabbed and used it to leap away and ran back toward Anko and went in for a high kick. Anko stepped back to avoid Anko around Naruto by going under the branch and get behind, and kicked him off the tree branch, but as she witnessed him falling, she was surprised when he turned to smoke. Before she could turn around, she felt something kick her into the back and flew into a trunk of a tree. After getting her head together, she looked up to see a huge fireball heading towards her. She rolled forward to dodge and the fireball hit the tree behind her. Not bad, Foxy-kun, but it's not over yet. Naruto smirked. Then he noticed the tree behind Anko beginning to fall and she was in its path. Hubby-chan. Look out. Anko looked and closed her eyes. Naruto leapt and went through some hand signs. Mokudo. Seihan. A couple of woodbines appeared in front of Anko, wrapping around the trunk of the tree, protecting Anko from the impact. Anko opened her eyes and widened what she was seeing. There was a tree inches from her face, but the shocking part was the trunk of the tree was being restrained by wood-like veins coming out the ground. Naruto landed in front her, and grabbed her hands. Are you okay? Anko snapped out her dazed and looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, you have the wood release. Naruto signed and nodded. Yes, Kurama said have the blood of the Senju and he awoke it a while ago, using his chakra as enhancer. Who's Kurama? Naruto pointed at his stomach. Oh, anyway congrats on the bloodline and all, even though it's an inconvenience. Anko said, sitting down on the tree, hugging her legs. Naruto his head to the side in confusion and sat next to her. What do you mean? Well, once people find out you have the ability of the Shodai, you will be put into the CRA, which means I have to share. Well, what if I refuse? Naruto offered, causing Anko to look at him in shock. Are you crazy? Why would you turn a chance to have a harem to yourself? Most guys would jump at the opportunity. Anko asked. Naruto gave her a warm smile and held her hands in his. Because of you, you're the first person to confess to me, you understand me well and just like you, I want people to love me for me, and not want me for a breeding stock. Naruto answered. Anko stared at the boy in front and was amazed at how big his heart was. There was someone who genuinely cared for her and would have her over countless women. Anko grabbed Naruto by his collar and pulled him into a kiss, no tongue, but it was deep and filled with a lot of emotion. After a few minutes, she pulled away from the crimson-red Naruto. Anko gave the blonde a real smile, making Naruto blush harder. I'm definitely falling for you, and thank you. But sadly you won't have a choice. Well, if I don't have a choice, then how about I let you choose the other girls I'm with? Will that make you feel better? You're really going out for me and it makes me happy. I'll accept the offer and one more thing. She pulled Naruto into another kiss, but this one was quick. That's for saving and thinking about my feelings. Anko said, leaning her head against Naruto. Both enjoy each other's company. Yamanaka's shop. Ino was sitting at the counter, reading a magazine since it was a slow day. She was looking for tips to improve her look to attract a certain Uchiha, while daydreaming about marrying him. But she was snapped out of her thoughts when she heard the door opened. She looked up to see Sakura walking in with a depressed look. What are you doing here, forehead? Ino. Sakura started, getting a surprised look from Ino, since she didn't call her pig. She looked into Sakura's eyes, she saw anger and determination. We need to talk about Sasuke-san and our friendship. Do you mind taking a short break to talk in your living room? Sakura. I can't. Please. This is important. Sakura pleaded with her former friend. Ino started to look concerned for her friend. Why did she want to talk about Sasuke-kun? She first thought Sakura was going to try to convince her to give up, but she just remembered Sakura addressed Sasuke-kun as Sasuke-san. Sure. Come on in. Ino turned the sign on the door to be back in a few, and guided Sakura in the house in her living room and sat down on a cushion at the dining room table. Okay, Spill, what about Sasuke-kun you want to talk about? Sakura signed and prepared for Ino's reaction. Hokage office. Hokage was sitting in battling his worst enemy, paperwork, wishing to do away with it or at least hoping for a brief distraction. Unfortunately for him, he got his wish in the form of an overdue visitor, because Tsunade slammed the doors open with what to be hope in her eyes, breathing hard as she just ran a mile. Is it true? Is my grandson alive? Hiruzen was shocked at the sudden appearance of his student. And what did she mean to her grandson? Hello Tsunade Heim, it's good to see that you are well, but what do you mean your grandson? Tsunade eyes widen a bit and sign as she pinches her temples. Kami have mercy on that pervert, I guess he didn't tell you. Tsunade took a seat in front of her sensei. I'm sure you are aware of Minato being Jiraiya's son. I am. From what I learned Minato was an orphan before Jiraiya came along and adopted him. That's not necessarily the case. Jiraiya didn't adopt him, he is his actual father. Tsunade stated, gauging his reaction. And as she thought, he took it as a surprise considering his pipe fell out of his mouth. And that's not all. What else could there be? And who's Minato's mother? Hiruzen asked. Tsunade was quiet for a moment before mumbling something. Do you care to repeat that? It's me. Tsunade answered. I'm his mother. After Dan's death, I left the village as you know. One night Jiraiya found me and we played a game of poker and we each made a bet. If I win, he would pay off one of my debts and if he won, I'd go on a date with him. As you know he won, and we went to a bar and had a few drinks. That's when things got dangerous. We ended up at a hotel and then the rest is history. Hiruzen nodded. Why didn't you return with Minato and how come no one knew? Because of Minato-kun. I told him about his family and the village. He was excited and wanted to become a shinobi for the village. He knew of my disdain and told me to come when I'm ready. Funny right? I'm his mother and he was concerned for me and my image. He kept his status a secret, that way he wouldn't be forced in the CRA, and for my image, that way no one would think I would abandon him. But. Her fist clenched in anger as she gritted her teeth. When Jiraiya told me about Kushina being pregnant, I was ready to return, and when I did, I was surprised to see he was marrying a Uzumaki. So I decided to wait to let the village know about Minato until his baby was born. I understand, so why did you think Naruto-kun was dead? Hiruzen asked. Because the elders and Danzo told me they were killed by the fox. When I returned from the search for the snake tem, the fox was already sealed. I went towards Minato-kun house and Danzo was there with the 2 old bats. He told me Minato and his family were killed, so I left with Shizune and never came back. Tsunade finished, leaking some ki along with Hiruzen. I should have known. Ever since he was young, Naruto was targeted by the corrupted Warhawk to become his personnel weapon. He even gained control of the civilian council with the help of my former teammates. I swear I'm getting too old for this shit. Well, how was his life here in the village? He was the son of Minato-kun, so I hope he wasn't spoiled. Tsunade asked eagerly. Hiruzen started to sweat a bit. Well, you see. Yamanaka's residence. Ino was staring across her dining room table at Sakura after Sakura informed her about her mission with her team. The platinum blonde couldn't believe that her Sasuke would use Sakura as a sacrifice, and to make things more surprising, Naruto, the former dead last, jumped in front of the Pinkett and took a hit. Ino, I know how you're feeling right now, but I think you should give up on Sasuke. But what about marrying him? He's the best. He was the best, but not anymore. He lost multiple fights since we were put on a team. On the wave mission, he fought an ice user and lost, but Naruto beat him. He fought Naruto in a spar with his Sharingan but lost. And lastly, the new Kenin who attacked me was beaten by Naruto, the same one that beat Sasuke. Sakura said, drinking some tea. Ino was amazed. She always believed that Sasuke was the ace of Team 7, but it seems Naruto was stronger and she didn't want to admit it, but she found it romantic that Naruto took a hit for Sakura, like a knight for her princess. I guess we were wrong about the 2 of them. Sakura nodded. We are more than that. Ino stared at Sakura confusingly. We were bitches. We worshipped Sasuke so much, we treated everyone else like crap. We did because he's a Uchiha and he was an orphan. But so was Naruto, but he was ignored and bullied by everyone including us. But that was his fault. He was annoying and always pulled pranks. Ino argued. Sakura shook her head. Be that as it may, if I think about it, Naruto-kun might be the perfect guy for me. Also, I think I know why he was pulling pranks, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't just for enjoyment. During the wave mission, I found out a little about Naruto's past and it was pretty bad. Well, how bad was it? Well, we learned from Kakashi-sensei while he was in the orphanage, he was isolated from the other kids, they had him sleep in the basement, barely feed him and kept his room cold. But things changed when he turned 6 years old. Ino breathed in relief. Things changed for the better. After all, how could someone with a bad past always be happy? Sakura shook his head. No, it gets worse. Ino was about to ask, until Sakura halted her. He was kicked out when he was 6 and was digging through garbage to find his next meal. Ino held a hand over her mouth as gasp. But there's more. He used to sleep in dark alleys and in sewers. Sakura said with tears in her eyes, picturing a little Naruto shivering in the cold. Ino started to get worried. Okay, I get it. It was bad. Now please stop. No, Sakura yelled, startling Ino. Just listen, please. Ino nodded. After he was kicked and went through all that, the villagers started hunting down. They beat him and he had no one to comfort him beside the ramen people. Sakura had tears pouring down her face, which confused the platinum blonde. Ino was upset at the villagers, but what accused her was how Sakura was handling it. Why was she so affected by this? Why does this upset you? There's nothing you could have done. Sakura stopped sobbing and glared at the blonde, but not in anger. It was guilt. You know why this upsets me? Because we added to his pain. Ino's eyes widened. He was called a demon by the villagers, and in the academy we made fun of him when he wanted friends. And what's worse, my mom wanted me to be friends with him, but I followed the crowd because I didn't want to be made fun of. Ino was now sobbing at the guilt she was feeling. But he was annoying, and was an idiot. Ino tried to defend. Remember all those pranks? I do, and you know what else I remember? Naruto-kun never pranked us. He never did anything to us. So why was I so bothered by it? For Kami's sake, we treated Kiba better than Naruto. Kiba, who I remind you is a pervert and looks down on women. Ino started to rub her eyes, trying to wipe away the tears. Kakashi told me the only reason he pranks people is for attention. He didn't like being ignored and glared at, so by pranking, he was looked at as an annoying kid. Ino finished. Ino never thought about it before. Naruto never targeted kids for his pranks, only adults, and now hearing this, they probably deserved it. And now that she noticed it, whenever she saw him smile, it seemed forced, but she never thought of it because she never cared for her fellow blonde because she always focused on the Uchiha. But after hearing about the incident, she started to look at both Team 7 boys in different ways. She always dreams about getting married one day to a knight in shining armor, and she assumed Sasuke was the one to fit the description. Now after hearing about the emo, she was having second thoughts about pursuing any relationship with him. He's amazing. Regardless of how the village treats him, he still wants to be Hokage and protect the village. I wish I could also be strong like him. Sakura blushed before continuing. I think I'm going to give Naruto-kun a chance. He proved to me how much he cares about me. Sakura announced. Even though he said he will never pursue me again, he didn't say his feelings were gone. Hold up, forehead. Not so fast. Ino interjects. Why do you get to have Naruto? What if I want him? Sakura gasps in surprise before glaring at her old friend. And why would you want him, Ino pig? You hardly know him. Sakura yelled. Why wouldn't I? After everything you said, I would be stupid not go for him. Should I remind you? You said he's kind-hearted, strong, dedicated, and practically a knight. He jumped in front of an attack to save you. That's so romantic. I may not know him much, but from what you told me, he has the quality of a good man. I just get to know him better and show him my good side. He shouldn't be able to resist my charm, especially since I'm way more beautiful than you are. Ino said with confidence. Fat chance, pig. Naruto-kun will be mine. After all, we already kiss. Ino was surprised but quickly hid it. Well, I guess I have to give an even better one. Like I let you. Sakura and Ino continue you back and forth, but they would never admit they were enjoying each other's company. Council room. The Shinobi clan head and the civilian council received word of a meeting of great importance and was waiting for their leader. But soon the wait was over, when the doors opened revealing the Hokage. The clan heads did a slight bow towards as a show of respect, and Mebuki was the only one to bow on the civilian side. I'm glad everyone is here. Now let's begin this meeting. Hiruzen started with a slight chuckle. What is this meeting about, Hiruzen? Danzo questioned. It's funny you should ask. You see, it actually involves you. Danzo was confused. Has his root headquarters been found out? He doubts that. He was sure he wasn't missing an agent. You can come in now. Hiruzen called, breaking Danzo from his thoughts. Everybody turned to the figure behind them and saw none other than Tsunade Senju walk in with a smile. Danzo flinched a bit at the glare the Sannin was giving him to keep, but kept his stoic look. Tsunade-sama, it's an honor to have you back in our village. Kaharu started. Cut the shit. I'm not here for the village. Tsunade said, still glaring at the bandage man and shifting it towards the elders. I've got questions that need answers. Danzo. Tsunade narrowed eyes. Why did you tell me that a Kushina child was killed? Tsu's eyes widen. Kushina's pup is still alive. Where? The Inuzuka asked but was ignored. Isn't it obvious? It is the property of the leaf. It should be made into the perfect. Danzo didn't get finished because Tsunade grabbed the throat, releasing a bunch of ki. Do not call my grandson an it, and how dare you say he's your property? Especially after how you treated him. I should kill you now. Tsunade back her fist. Lady Tsunade, please calm. Homaru tried to plead before Tsunade glared at him. You're next. And you too, Kaharu. Tsunade yelled, causing the advisors to flinch in fear. Is Neko here? An Anbu with a cat mask appeared in front of the slug princess. Yes, Lady Tsunade. I heard from the pervert you protect my grandson. For that you have my eternal gratitude. Tsunade thanked with a smile on her face. If you ever need anything, just ask. I would have protected him even if I wasn't asked to. This village owes them that much. And plus I kinda grew attached to him. Neko replied with a slight blush behind her mask. Excuse me, Lady Tsunade, but if the pup is alive, who is here? I was told he didn't make it. Tsume asked in desperation. Neko, may you find him and bring here, please. Tsunade requested. Hi. Neko bowed before disappearing in a Shunshin way. Will you just tell me who it is? Tsume begged. Tsunade rubbed her temples and approached the woman and whispered in her ear. Tsume's eyes widened and glared at the civilian side of the council, making them shiver. I'm going to make you bastards pay. She then turned her glare towards Danzo. Especially you, you old prick. You better show respect to your better Suma-san. Danzo said in a calm manner. The only thing you deserve is the shit from my hound's yard. Tsume retorted. You heartless. She was cut off when the doors opened, revealing Neko walking in, and what was strange, she was chuckling. I'm sorry. Haha, he's on his way. Neko struggled to say because of her chuckling. Soon Naruto walked in with his jacket unzip and lipstick all over his face, with a goofy grin on his, gave the boy a questionable look and turned to Neko for answers, but she was cut off. What's the demon doing at an important meeting? A merchant councilman began before he was grabbed from the throat by Tsunade. Tsun smiled deviously. Watch what you call my grandson. Everyone's eyes widened, while the civilian side was shaking in fear remembering everything they did to the boy. And if I remember, isn't there a law about that word? Neko. Tsunade called the man towards the Anbu as Neko unsheathed her sword and cut the man's neck off. Hiruzen looked at Tsunade in concern. Tsunade noticed and smirked. I got over my fear, sensei. Hiruzen nodded and turned to Naruto, who was still in a daze. Neko. What's the matter with the boy? Neko started to laugh. Anko. Sir. Hiruzen quirked an eyebrow. Apparently those two are a thing. All the males beside Danzo looked at Naruto in amazement. Naruto soon snapped out his gaze and realized he was in the council room. He was about to ask why he was here when he was suddenly swooped up by his feet in a huge hug. Naruto-kun. You're alive. I can't believe you are alive. Naruto was suffocating, gasping for air. Of course I am. Who are you, lady? Tsunade sat him down and wiped a stray tear. Sorry. I was happy to see you. Why? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tsunade Senju, one of the Sannin, but most importantly. She bent down and kissed his forehead, making him blush. I'm your grandmother, Tsunade Senju, as in the granddaughter of the. Naruto paused and registered what he heard. Wait, did you just say, I'm your grandmother? Tsunade smiled. Naruto started to shake. Why? Tsunade gave him a confused look. Why weren't you here for me? Did you hate me like everyone else? No. Tsunade answered with tears of her own coming out. I would have been here for but. She started releasing ki, startling everyone. I was told by some soon-to-be-dead fools, that you perished the night of the attack. She stopped the ki and gave Naruto a soft hug which he returned. I love you. Naruto was crying in the crick in her neck, very happy. Everyone gave them a moment before both the blondes calmed down. Wow, I can't believe I have family and it's a Senju. The shinobi clan heads, Hokage, Mebuki and Tsunade all smiled at the boy, happy for him. There's no way those two are related. Tsunade is a princess and the boy is nothing but garbage. Another council said, making the rest nod in agreement. He must have hypnotized her. Kit, show them. Kuruma suggested. Naruto smiled at the idea even though he wanted to keep it a secret. If I'm not a Senju, how can I do this? Mokuden. Moku Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto said, making a wood clone of himself, receiving gasp in return. You have Ji-chan bloodline. Tsunade asked in shock. That's right, Ba-chan, which reminds me. Naruto turned to face the Hokage. I would like to be in the CRA. Naruto shocked everyone. I agree, it'll bring great strength to the leaf to revive the Mokuden, Senju and Uzumaki clan. Danzo said. Well, I don't. We shouldn't have any more demon spawns running around. The stupid councilman started before he was beheaded by Neko. Hiruzen looked at Naruto and nodded for him to continue. But there is a condition. Everyone waited for Naruto's condition in suspense and grew nervous when he started to chuckle. You can come in now. Naruto called. Anko walked in with a huge sinister grin, matching Naruto's. Anko-chan have to approve of them. Hello Shinobi Council. Anko greeted with a bow, then the civilian council. Your royal assness. Why should the snake whore have the honor of such an important task, Uzumaki-sama? Another random councilman asked. Anko was about to jump up and torture the victim but Naruto grabbed her hand and gave her a warm smile. For one, I don't want anyone trying to gain power using my clan status. The civilians grumble a bit. And two, Naruto pulled Anko by her arms and gave her a deep, surprising everyone. Anko got over her shocked mood and returned the by wrapping her arms around his neck. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist earning an extra moan from the snake mistress. Some of the men were impressed with the blonde, while Tsunade gave a questionable gaze. After 30 seconds of making out, they broke apart for air and Anko gave Naruto a seductive smile. Didn't know you were an exhibitionist. Anko then turned her head towards the council. Now listen up. I don't want no pansy girl trying to bed my Naru-kun for his status, or my snakes will have a full course meal. So no fan girls nor loveless relationship. Anko declared, receiving nods of approval from the shinobi and glares from the civilians. Tsunade smirked and couldn't agree more. She was going to suggest the same thing but the fact Anko suggested it was enough to earn some points in her book. Do we agree on Naruto being listed in the CRA? Everyone nodded, even the demon haters. Then it's decided Naruto Uzumaki will take part of the CRA, dismissed.